So I'm gonna tell you guys why this Hyosung totally sucks. At least that's what I initially thought. Cue the intro. What's up guys, I'm Sean from Srkcycles, and we are here with the latest, not even the latest, like 2 years old, 2017 Hyosung GD250R. Now I don't know why they call it that, and they have this EXI, possibly a V, maybe a U, R on the side, and there's something else written on here. Easy slut, no, easy suit. I have no idea what that is. Not even gonna bother trying to figure it out. So initially I was like, Hyosung, that's kind of dumb. I don't want a Hyosung. I want something a little more American. You know what I mean? Harley Davidson, Honda, Yamaha, Kimco. You know what I mean? Give me an American brand that I can really trust. But then I picked this thing up. Let me just get down to it. When all said and done, I know brand new, these things were like 3,700 bucks. Well, this is a brand new bike that is now used with 3 miles on it, and it's gonna be around $2,000. So now you have a different value proposition. First, the bike looks awesome. It really is. When it comes to the styling and looks, it does look cool. It's got this real sleek looking exhaust, adjustable suspension, steel braided brake lines. It's got a fuel gauge. It really is a cool looking bike. And in the category of these 250s and the 300s, of these smaller bikes, you know, it looks as good as any of them do, honestly. It does have a single cylinder motor, just like the Honda, although it does feel pretty smooth for it. So Hyosung comes from South Korea, which is the Korea that is not threatening to bomb us every couple months. This thing weighs in at 350 pounds, which honestly, I'm kind of surprised. I know all the little 250s weigh about the same, but I don't know why they weigh so much. This is only 50 pounds less than the 600s, and this is only a 250. I guess it's just the engine's not that much. I don't know. I assumed it'd be like 300 pounds. This bike is 6-speed, chain drive, and pushing around 42 horsepower, which is also pretty comparable for the other, 250s. Because of the price is so incredibly cheap on the used market, when all said and done, if this bike doesn't totally suck on the test drive, I think it's a great value. At $2,000 for a barely used motorcycle, basically new, and this thing has 0 miles on it as of right now. To get a bike for $2,000 is incredible. If it sucks, it's not worth it. Let's take it for a spin. Let's see what it's like. Oh yeah, and check this out. Hold up, this is awesome. And then the funniest thing about this whole bike is how when you first turn it on, it says, "to the max," which is awesome. It would have been funnier that if they, you know how sometimes like these imports, they do like bad translations, you know what I mean? So if it had said like "to the plus" or something like that, I could have seen that. That would have been funny. All right, let's take it for a spin. I'm pretty sure they just threw random letters on here. They're like, just put some. It's kind of like, well, like guys get like tattoos on the side of their arm of like Chinese symbols. That's what they did. They're like, just put some random letters on there. All right, guys. Before we go, let's do the words of wisdom. Acts 1:18. But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you shall be my witness both in Jerusalem and in Judea and Samaria and even to the remotest parts of the earth. That's an Acts when Jesus sends the Holy Spirit to the apostles. All right, so the bar is set pretty low, to the max. To the max. The bar is definitely set low on this bike because the price is low. Now, at this thing at $4,000 MSRP when it came out, or 3,900 bucks, like 900 bucks less than the other bikes, honestly, I would just probably buy the other bike. Now that's new, and I don't recommend people buying new. But there's some usual situations to buy new. But when you're buying in the used market, everything changes. All the rules and things that you had before, and used, one, this is a basically new bike. It says like new old stock, but we're selling it used because it now has 8 miles on it, and now I, a used dealership, own it. But it's $2,000. Now before, some guy, I had this other, I mentioned the price about another bike on some other video. Some guy's like, the bike's not $2,000, the bike's not $5,000, it's $8,900. I'm like, no, it's my price. This is what I'm selling it for. I don't care what anyone else is selling it for. And why should you? It's a used bike. MSRP is irrelevant. So, for $2,000, look at what else you can, look at what other motorcycles you can buy for $2,000. And I've done this before, and it's junk. It's just straight up junk. And I guarantee you that if Home Depot or Pep Boys sold a motorcycle half this quality for $2,000, people would buy it. And then you got something like this. It's like, hey, that's actually pretty decent for $2,000, man. And the thing about this bike, I actually think it looks awesome. I think that we're still trying to figure out how well it rides, but I think the styling is, they knocked it out of the park. I really do. In terms of feel, like just feeling, riding down the road, touching handlebars, touching the grips, touching the plastic, it feels like everything else. It doesn't feel like anything different. It doesn't feel like cheaper than a Honda or a Yamaha or a Kawasaki. Honestly, it might even feel a little more better quality than the Harley Davidson's Street 500s. It just feels like a good regular bike. Cruising down the road, I got no problems. The way it seems to handle feels great. Now, of course, it doesn't have like big power because it's not a big power bike, but it gets you there. We'll see what the we'll do a 0 to 60 run. We'll see how fast it is. I'm guessing it'll be under 6 seconds. I think I could get this thing in under maybe around 5 seconds, maybe 5.5, which is actually pretty decent. If you compare that to a car, you'd be like, oh, that's actually a pretty decent car. It's like my mom. It's like my mom's Nissan Maxima in 2012 or something like that. Cruising down the road at the speed limit, feels awesome. As of right now, I got no complaints about this bike. As of right now, I've concluded this bike does not suck, and that I think it's worth $2,000 all day long. And now it's not like a Chinese bike, and I'm not trying to bash the Chinese people, but it's the same issue that people say that they have with the Indians. They're like, well, there's so many Harley dealerships around. And the same guy that's saying that doesn't go anywhere or ride his bike anywhere. So he's never more than 20 minutes away from his own dealership. So I don't know what his problem is. But it is nice to know that there is some type of infrastructure to fix your bike and get parts when they break. Because, hey, let's be honest. The American bikes still break. The Japanese bikes still break. Let's assume the South Koreans have not figured out a way to make a motorcycle that doesn't break. It is very slim. You know, like the same thing you would see with the other 300s and 250s. And I think I said this in the earlier part of the video, but this is a single. And for a single, it's pretty darn smooth. Now, when you look up, I tell you what, there's not that much information about Hyosung on the internet. You look up KR, it looks like for a while KR was what they were calling the company that was making the motorcycles. A little confusing. Not sure why they call it the GD250R when GD250R is nowhere to be seen on the bike. It's alright, they're still learning. They're still learning. They can build a functioning motorcycle, they just can't figure out the sticker part. Alright, so let's run a 0 to 60. I think I can get this thing. I'm gonna get this thing in 5 seconds. That's my goal. I'm gonna do it. In one try. There. like to think that was pretty good. Now, a concern of mine is this thing gonna be real buzzy on the highway? And the issue with buzzy is you start feeling vibrations coming through your handlebars, in your arms, in your wrists, in your elbows, through your shoulders, and it stops your heart. No, just kind of makes your hands kind of feel a little bit numb. I'm gonna go with on a scale of buzziness from 0 being a gold wing to 10 being a like enduro, like a 650 thumper or like a 400 thumper or something like that. Maybe like a supermoto type of bike. I'm gonna put this right in the middle. I've definitely had significantly worse, but got a little bit of buzz. I'm also going the speed limit. Now I'm gonna put it a little lower. I'm gonna put it at like a 5. It's pretty decent. I got no problem keeping up with traffic. I'm in 6th gear at 6,000 RPMs. The red line's around 10. And then let's see what happens when I floor it. It's got no problem accelerating and keep on going. And that's top gear. That's top gear. Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I genuinely thought this bike was gonna suck and just feel like cheap, just junk. You know what I mean? Like something you bought like from like Kmart, and that like pieces were gonna fly off while I'm driving, and when I threw a leg over it, half the body would fall off. That's absolutely not the case. And I think for a beginner, for a new rider, this would be an awesome bike, because you ride it for a couple seasons. If it still runs, still looks good, you sell it for, I don't know, 1,500 bucks. A running bike is worth 1,500 bucks. You could almost pay 1,500 bucks for a 1970 scooter or moped with a title. You know what I mean? So don't tell me a running, good-looking bike is not worth that much money. It is cool looking. I think they knocked it out of the park with that. I think an American company, check this out. I think an American company needs to make a really cool looking set of motorcycles. You know, a couple different ones, you know what I mean? One's a little more cafe, one's a little more cruiser, and then just throw other people's engines in them. Make them real simple, make them real reliable. Use an engine that someone else has been using for a long time, like the VTX 1300 or something like that. And then that's how you start an American motorcycle company. Guys, if you're wondering about these gloves, these are M1 Moto gloves. Click on the link below. These are incredibly bad. We tested these things really, really hard. And M1 Moto is the only type of glove I wear when I ride, because you know what? I like my hands. These are the hands I use to wield Thor's hammer. Alright guys, that wraps it up. So that was your riding. But where are you going? We'll see you guys later. So if you buy a bike like this, or if you have a bike like this, don't let anyone else make fun of you about your bike. Become a better rider. Bikes like this make better riders. It really does. Super fast bikes don't make you better riders. It just makes you potentially faster, but not necessarily a better rider. Become a good rider. Learn the basics. Learn how to use the bike. Valentino Rossi on this bike would smoke me on any other bike, guaranteed, on any situation.